Okay, so this is the fun part. Now we're going to talk about how you break free of your coping strategy. And it's fun and it's not fun. The fun bit is it's very, very cool when you get to see what shows up differently in your life when you change these patterns, because what we're talking about now is deep work. It's like not the surface level stuff. Like, we're all so used to being told that, if you want to create something, you have to just go and take some surface level action, whether that's like, okay, you want a new job, you need to go and look at the job pages and see what jobs are available. That's, for me, is a surface level action. It's like, but if what you want is you want more fulfillment in your work, you don't want to be burnt out, and then you start looking what's causing the burnout, then you come up with an entirely different answer. Whereas if you just followed on and decided the reason I'm not happy is because I need another job, and you got another job, the same patterns would follow you into that job. So you're just like messing around at the surface level and not really changing anything. Whereas when you change your sense of identity and who you are, you change your energy, you change the way that you're interacting vibrationally with everything in existence, and you fundamentally change how your life is turning out for you, which to me is finding your power. To me, this shows you that you are not stuck and powerless in the way that we're conditioned to believe that we are. It's like you have neurodiversity, you have ADHD or whatever, so therefore you are a victim to that condition, you have that disorder, and you will always be limited by it. When the truth is that actually those are responses to a nervous system and fear, and if you manage to find a way of shifting your nervous system out of fear, then you will show up in an entirely different way and live into your potential and create an extraordinary life for yourself. But we're not told about that possibility. That's not currently in conventional wisdom and conventional thinking. But if you're here, you're not here for conventional wisdom and conventional thinking. So we don't need to worry about that. I want to take you to the deep-rooted causes of what will show you that you are a powerful creator of your own reality. So let's get on with talking about how to break free of your deep-rooted coping strategy. So we've got to the point where you are now aware of what identity you have created for yourself, the negative identity, like the I'm not good enough thing, or whatever it is. So you're aware of it. So what do we do to shift it? So what we know about this is that when you are in this identity, it's basically fear-based. So you're trying to avoid stuff. So when I'm not good enough, I'm trying not to be a failure. And when I try not to be a failure, I've shown you how I end up creating evidence for myself that proves to me I'm a failure. And I also want to give you another illustration of this. It's just like really, really clear, and that you can go out and have a bit of fun with and try immediately, because you really get a sense of this. And that's if you get on a bike, especially if it's a mountain bike, and you choose to go through a tight space, which is just slightly bigger than the width of your handlebars. It could be between two trees. It could be between a lamppost and a bin, something like that. Now, if you focus on what you fear, like, I don't want to hit that bin, you focus on that. I don't want to hit that bin. I don't want to hit that bin. It will feel like there is a magnetic force field pulling you towards that bin, and you will hit it. Whereas if you go, I'm just going to go there. I'm going to choose that path, which is exactly in the middle between the bin and the lamppost. In fact, I'm not even paying attention to the bin and the lamppost at all anymore, because all I'm doing is focusing on my path ahead. Then you will go straight through with pinpoint accuracy. You will go straight through that gap, provided that you stay relaxed and centered and in trust. And the reason that I love this analogy is because it's more than an analogy. Because if you go and try it, you will feel the truth of this. You will feel how it works. And when you feel in your body how it works, you know how it works. So when it comes to letting go of your meanings, like, and your fears, like I'm failure, you will then be able to draw the parallel between that and the experience you had on your bike. So what we do, it's all about feeling. It's all about what you're feeling in the body. And the reason for that is we're talking about shifting vibration here. The one thing is, like, my pet bugbear is that so many people talk about changing your thoughts and your beliefs and your mindset without talking about addressing your emotion. And the thing is, it's your emotion that is actually the vibration in your nervous system. And it's that is creating your reality. That is how you're interacting with the rest of everything in existence. So if you're only concentrating on what's in your mind and their thoughts and beliefs, you won't affect what's going on in your body. And then you end up like lying to yourself almost. Well, absolutely lying, not almost, absolutely lying to yourself. Because if you change your mindset without believing it in your body, there's basically a lie, because what you believe in here is not what you're feeling is the truth in there, and it doesn't work. If we're going to go back to the mountain bike example, it would be like me going, oh, I'm really, really confident that I can go through that small gap and not fall off. Whereas actually what you feel is, if I go through that gap, I'm going to hit that lamppost. And you can't get that out. You can't get that feeling out of you, even however hard you try and think, I mustn't hit the lamppost. You can't get that feeling and that belief out of you, I am going to hit that lamppost. In which case, you'll still hit the lamppost, because it's not your thoughts that counts, it's your belief that counts. So to work with belief, we actually have to work with how it feels in the body. And that's why this work has to be done with emotion. It has to be done with the body and not just the mind. So the first step is to feel the resistance. So by that, I mean the negative emotion. So the contraction, the feeling in your body, like I talked about before, the tightness of the solar plexus, or the fear ball in your stomach, or the tightness on your shoulders. Feel it. And really allow it to be there. Okay. This is the spiritual process of acceptance and surrender. It's really going, okay, I'm welcoming the experience. I'm welcoming the feeling. I'm not making it wrong. I'm not making it bad. I'm like, I accept this as a part of me. So you can feel it and turn towards it and allow it to be there and welcome it. And I invite you to see it as showing you the path forward, because it is going to show you where you need to go in order to shift this pattern, even though the thoughts that it's generating are negative and sabotaging. So the next step really is to acknowledge that the thoughts that you're thinking and generating when you're feeling negative, when you're feeling resistance, are just stories. They're automatically generated into your mind by your nervous system. So you really don't have very much control over them. The only control you have over them is to bring your nervous system back into a sense of safety and come out of the fight, flight, fear, fawn mode. And then those thoughts won't be generated anymore. But just to try and suppress and stop the thoughts is just going to create more resistance, which is going to make the thoughts even louder. And then the only way of getting rid of them, is to suppress them or distract yourself. And that probably looks like, oh, I'll do whatever I do when I want to distract myself. I mean, my personal thing, I chocolate biscuits. Some people drink a beer or a glass of wine. Some people binge watch Netflix. Some people scroll Facebook. But, you know, we all have our techniques that we are compelled to, like, whether we like it or not. It feels like a compulsion. What we do when what's actually going on is we're trying to avoid a feeling. And I actually have made a little rule for myself now. If I go and eat 5 chocolate biscuits in a row, which I kind of do sometimes, okay, I actually do sometimes, I'll go, okay, that's interesting. I am suppressing something. I'm suppressing a feeling right now. And that's really interesting because I can catch myself when I'm going into self-sabotage much sooner than I would otherwise. And it's not a case of thinking I must rid myself from negative thoughts and resistance feelings forever, and unless I do, I'm somehow failing, because that's just another way of beating yourself up and being negative and being critical and staying in the survival strategy. The truth is that we are human, and our human bodies have inbuilt mechanisms by which we keep our physicality safe. For example, if something's hot and you put your hand on it, you take it off like that. That's an automatic reaction, and it's designed to keep your physical body safe. These negative coping strategies and the negative thoughts are the same. It's a product of our nervous system that automatically happens without our conscious control when in response to not feeling safe. So instead of, when you feel negative, instead of going, oh no, here are these negative thoughts that I'm having, I need to change them because they're going to put me negative vibration and I'm going to attract negative things, which can be a massive problem if you're into the sort of teaching of manifestation, which say you almost must have positive thoughts and you always must envisage the future you want. And then that causes you to just try and suppress all your negativity, you know, and actually what you're doing is just pushing it down to the subconscious, so that that's actually what you're believing deep down, and that you're now creating that, and you won't, and it's just causing your self-sabotage to get worse. So things get worse rather than get better. So this really is in response to having had that experience myself, and I heard a lot of other people struggling with that when, you know, when they when the laws of, you know, trying to follow the law of attraction and manifestation principles is actually causing them to suppress their emotions that need to be, which need to be brought up to the surface and to be felt in order to be released. So that's number one point. It's feeling the emotion, accepting it, not making it wrong, so it's allowing it to surface. The next thing is to be really, really kind and loving and compassionate with the feeling. To treat it like a part of yourself that's a little child who's distressed. Because in a way, it is a part of you that never matured, because it made this meaning about itself, which is a fixed meaning. This is who I am. And it got stuck there. So when you bring love and compassion to it, this is the alchemical ingredient. This is the active ingredient, as it were, which actually transforms your state from a state of fear to a state of expansiveness, and what actually is the process of unlocking your higher consciousness, your higher gifts, your access, your ability to use this amazing nervous system you have to access the wisdom and the extrasensory knowing. It's this alchemy of love and compassion. And that completely makes sense, because it's always said in all the great spiritual traditions that love is the most powerful force in the universe. And of course it is, because it creates this alchemy that changes you from being in your small survival self to your expansive self, the self that is aware that it's a part of everything, that it's one with everything, that you are your awareness and not just your physical body. And this is also a really important part of this, because it's this ultimately what allows your nervous system to feel safe is when you no longer feel vulnerable. And as long as you believe that you are nothing more than a separate little human body, and or as long as you're in that illusion, even if you have a sort of theoretical faith, if you're not feeling your faith, if you're not feeling that connection to all that is, that there is, and you're not feeling your sense of oneness, your body's still experiencing separation and fear, and that I am vulnerable to die if bad things happen. Whereas if you are aware that while you're a physical body, you are also more accurately your awareness. You are the person looking out of your eyes. You are the awareness. You're aware that you're aware. And that part of you is non-physical, and it can't be, because it's non-physical, you can't destroy it, because you can only destroy physical things. While your physical body can suffer damage and destruction, your awareness can't. And when your nervous system knows this at a deep level, you move back into that sense of safety. Expansiveness returns, and you're able to shift from this very shut down, panic, fight, flight, fear state into this expansive state. It's like when you take a deep, nourishing breath. It's like when you're connected to nature. It's when you're with somebody that you really love and you're having a lovely connected conversation and you're laughing. You know, it's when you see something like really beautiful that takes all of your attention into the moment, like a gorgeous sunset or a beautiful flower. You feel it in your body, just this, this relaxation and release and this connectedness. And this just shifts your ability to perform and to sense and everything into a completely different way. And that is the shift we're looking for. And not only does that shift your state and take away the fear state, it also allows you to have a higher wisdom about the thing that the false belief you had. So for example, the thought, I'm not good enough. I'm like, oh, actually this idea of not good enough, it doesn't actually make any sense, because who's even measuring what not good enough is? And then you start to see that this idea of not good enough, oh, right, okay, it's like whether I'm good enough or not depends on my decision about how I value myself. So I'm just making it up. And it's like, all I need to do to be good enough is to decide that I am good enough. And then, because it's me that I have to be good enough for. So if I say I'm good enough, then I am good enough. And that access to that higher perspective on it is only possible from that place where you've taken the fear, you've brought your love and compassion to it for long enough that you feel it into your body. Like I have to emphasize, it's not about just thinking these thoughts. It's about really feeling into them and letting them settle deep into your body so that they actually change how your nervous system and how your body feels. And you will feel that from this contraction and whatever tightness it is that, you know, we've talked about when your throat or just wherever it is, you'll feel it just release and you feel like you're opening up. It's a felt sense in your body. And going back to the mountain biking analogy example, I love trying these things out, using things like mountain biking or any other sort of adventure sport, which requires skill and coordination and a bit of bottle. Because you can see when you go from the state of fear and over controlling and being stiff and worrying about, is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? And then you shift your state into, I trust myself. I'm going to go that way. I'm following that. I can just do that. I don't have to think it all through. I don't have to know how to do this in my conscious mind. I can trust my body. I can trust my bike. And I know that if I just intend to go that way and relax, my body will take me there. And the result is incredible. You can go from being rubbish all over the place, hitting stuff, falling off, to really like just going into flow and whizzing down and just feeling so confident and capable. And this is the shift. This is what happens. It takes you out of this shut down panic state into this flow state when when your super conscious gets engaged and you can do things beyond which you can manage when you're just going through your conscious mind. And actually mountain biking is one of the things that I use creating experience days where I take people through this experience so that they can really experience what it feels like when you make that shift in your nervous system from the fear state to the flow state, so that you can then take that knowing of how it feels, that gnosis in your body, into your place where you get stuck in your coping strategy, and you want to move into the energy and into the state, the expansive state, which allows you to live into your potential. So that was these are the keys. These are the secret. This is the secret sauce and the keys to shifting out of your state of fear and your coping strategies and into your state of expansiveness. It's accepting the feelings, allowing them to be there, meeting them with compassion and love, and just opening up, letting yourself feel everything and being okay with that. You know, these are uncomfortable feelings, and the things that stop people from doing this process is they're very scared of, if I let myself feel this negative emotion, this depression, this fear, this anxiety, I fear I will get stuck here forever and I will end up in a big depression. And, you know, that does happen to people because people resist the feeling. They're in this constant state of, I feel the feeling and I'm resisting it. And the universal truth is that what you resist persists. So if you're constantly resisting the feeling and refusing to really feel it and distracting yourself instead, you will keep that feeling in place. But now you know that what keeps it in place, you don't need to fear that anymore. Although, once again, I would say that this is so much more powerful and easy to do when you do it in the presence of somebody who's able to, in coach speak, hold space for you. So somebody who understands this process and is willing to allow you to feel your feelings without trying to comfort you or distract you or fix it, which is what happens in most normal interactions, because it's when you have somebody holding you in that space, this alchemy is so much more possible for it to happen. The energy allows it to happen. And it's imperative that the person who's holding space for you understands and holds for you the higher knowing that all of these negative thoughts are coming up, and negative meanings are not the truth of you, and the holding the vision of your higher potential. So once again, all of this is support that I provide to my clients, and I will give you details of my offerings at the end of the next video. And the next video goes on to talk about, so now you've broken free of your strategy, how are you going to fully live into your highest potential? So join you next for that one.